December 2024 marked a turning point in Syria's history. After years of brutal civil war, Bashar al-Assad's regime crumbled. Rebel forces, spearheaded by Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or HTS, launched a decisive offensive. It began in late November with the capture of Aleppo. Government forces, despite initial resistance, faltered. HTS gained momentum, capturing key cities. Hama and Homs fell. The offensive culminated on December 8th. Damascus, the seat of Assad's power, fell to the rebels. Assad's 54-year family rule ended abruptly. The country, ravaged by years of conflict, faced an uncertain future. A new era, for better or worse, had begun. The speed of the collapse shocked many. Assad, once seemingly invincible, was gone. His grip on power, maintained through brutal force, had weakened. The Syrian people, exhausted by war, yearned for stability. But the rise of HTS, a group with a complex and often controversial history, brought new anxieties. The international community watched cautiously. The fall of Assad, while welcomed by many, created a void. Into that void stepped HTS, a group with its own ideology and ambitions. The world waited, holding its breath, to see what this new Syria would become. As HTS stormed Damascus, Assad's fate hung in the balance. His escape, orchestrated by a longtime ally, unfolded quickly. Russian forces, a constant presence throughout the Syrian conflict, evacuated Assad from Damascus. He was flown to Khmeimim Air Base in Latakia, a Russian stronghold on the Syrian coast. From Latakia, Assad was flown to Moscow. Russia, having provided crucial support to Assad throughout the war, offered him asylum. In exile, Assad remained defiant. He claimed he wanted to stay in Syria but was forced out by the rebels. His words, however, rang hollow for many Syrians who had suffered under his rule. Assad's presence in Moscow further strained relations between Russia and the West. Western powers, highly critical of Assad's human rights record, condemned Russia for harboring him. Russia, however, defended its actions, arguing that it was preventing further bloodshed in Syria. The situation highlighted the complex geopolitical realities of the Syrian conflict. Russia, through its intervention, had become a major power broker in the region. Assad's fate, now intrinsically linked to Moscow, remained a point of contention on the world stage. With Assad gone, HTS moved quickly to establish control. The group, known for its strict interpretation of Islamic law, promised a new era for Syria. It pledged to establish an Islamic emirate governed by Sharia law. This proclamation sparked a mix of hope and fear among the Syrian people. Some, weary of war and chaos, welcomed any semblance of order. Others, particularly religious minorities and those who had fought against Assad, viewed HTS with suspicion. The group's history of human rights abuses and its hardline ideology raised concerns about the future of a free and inclusive Syria. The international community reacted cautiously. Western powers, wary of HTS's ideology and its potential links to extremist groups, expressed reservations. Russia, while not officially recognizing HTS, signaled a willingness to engage with the group in the interest of stability. The future remained highly uncertain. HTS faced the daunting task of rebuilding a shattered nation. Years of war had decimated infrastructure, displaced millions, and created a deep well of resentment and mistrust. The group's ability to govern effectively, address the humanitarian crisis, and reconcile with its opponents would determine Syria's fate. The fall of Assad marked the end of an era, but it did not bring an end to Syria's suffering. The country faced immense challenges. Rebuilding infrastructure, providing basic services, and healing the wounds of war would require a monumental effort. Millions remained displaced, both within Syria and beyond its borders. The task of resettling them and rebuilding their lives appeared overwhelming. The humanitarian crisis, exacerbated by years of conflict and neglect, demanded immediate attention. Food shortages, lack of medical care, and widespread displacement created a breeding ground for disease and despair. International aid organizations struggled to meet the needs of a population traumatized by war. Reconciliation, too, presented a formidable challenge. Deep divisions, fueled by years of violence and sectarian strife, ran through Syrian society. Building trust between communities, addressing past grievances, and fostering a culture of inclusivity were essential for lasting peace. The international community, despite its reservations about HTS, had a responsibility to assist Syria in its hour of need. Providing humanitarian aid, supporting reconstruction efforts, and promoting dialogue between different factions were crucial steps towards a brighter future. The road ahead would be long and arduous, but with determination and a shared commitment to peace, a new Syria, free from tyranny and oppression, could emerge from the ashes.